Hi there, and welcome back to Take One with Ronnie Lloyd Nanos, and we're here for Volume 2 and our second guest for Volume 2. Our second guest today is this fantastic film director, local filmmaker, Brenda Daly.
Yay for me!
Yay! Who I might add, Brenda just got her first film that she directed was picked up for distribution, and you can catch that film, Rogue Angel, which is, there's a QR code that should be coming up where you can see that film. And fantastic film about, really, it's about female empowerment, it's kick-ass women, and I was excited to be actually one of the executive producers of that film.
Yeah, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Oh, no. Again, I love it. It was originally part of the Lucky Sevens Film Challenge, which happened here, I think it was about 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
3 years.
It's been a while, and I know it's been a lot to moving forward and learning from your first film. You're going for distribution and you're filming, and it's, for lack of a word, it's a pain in the ass sometimes to get that out there.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the best of ways.
Right, but I do really think that the problem with being an independent filmmaker, and it's not that it's a problem, I think that when we did the Lucky Sevens, it was great. It was a great opportunity. I really appreciated being picked. But I felt like once the filming was done and everything was gone, everybody left me. And I was like, I am so alone, and I haven't done it yet, so I don't know. I didn't really have anybody to help me push it through.
No, I completely understand exactly.
And then I have all these people with opinions, but it's like, okay, that sounds great, but I don't know if that'll work. I had 28 distribution contracts come my way for this movie.
Right.
It's not a joke. It's a good film. I don't want to say it's like Oscar winning, but it's a good film. It won a bunch of awards, but I feel like what people don't understand when they make a feature film is that we made the movie in a rush.
In a rush.
But I feel like those other things, like distribution and everything, probably should be done ahead of time.
I think you're right. I think, just to give some context of, we were talking about it was done in a rush, and this film was made for less than $10,000. Around that. 10,000.
Let's say 14.
14.
Okay.
Filmed in less than 10 days.
Yes. 7 days.
That was part of the challenge. So even any film director in their first film, it's already difficult enough to get prepared and film it on time and do these things with much larger budgets than that. So to put that into context, just to complete this film with those parameters, it's almost miraculous.
You know what? It was really miraculous, and I think where the miracle came from is because everybody knew what my budget was.
Absolutely.
Everybody was home from COVID.
Yes. People
weren't doing creative things because of COVID unless they were doing it out of their house.
We actually got to work on some projects during COVID.
We did. We did all online stuff. But I think with a feature film,
yes.
And then of course I thought, wow, I'm not working and I got picked for this thing. So if I'm going to go all big. People are like going, well, you need one location and 4 or 5 actors. And I was like, I ain't doing that. No, it was just my personal creative idea, and I guess I was just fishing on how far of my reach actually was, because I had done a bunch of short films.
Yes,
but I really felt like, let's see how far I can take this. I get away with it.
I mean, in my own personal, I think it was time for you to become a director and do a feature film. I really, as I'm talking about when I do my Take One shows I bring my friends on. Right. I'm not going to lie about it. It's people that I've worked with, I see doing things. I do the whole, I return the energy and favors that have been done for me. And usually people that have come here we've worked together, we've done things, we've seen the struggles. And I would like people, again, if you'd like to share some of your background where you were working and stopped working before you became a director, so people can get some idea of where you come from as a director and why you're doing what you're doing.
So I have been a creative person since I was about 7 years old. Mm-hmm. My mother was the actress who came from Iowa, ran to LA, and wanted to be an actress at 19, met my father, got pregnant. Well, we all know the story. But she always did community theater. She actually was taking classes with Shirley MacLaine while she had 3 kids. She got my father involved, and he always played the villain in melodramas. He was this big Jewish guy with this big deep voice, and he always in Fiddle on the Roof like 10 times, even though he couldn't sing. So, but my parents were very, very into that, so that's where I hung out. Mm-hmm. And then even going to school, I entertained, performed. I put together shows for my friends if nothing else was going on. And then...
You have a musical theater background.
I have a huge musical theater background, yes. I trained professionally for 7 years.
I know you did.
But, and so I just, that was always my focus. And we were just talking in the hallway with the other ladies, and we were saying, yeah, when I was in high school, we had theater and, honor choir, and we worked really, really hard, and we just loved being there. And that was a really big reason to go to school. So I'm so happy that all the high schools in the area seem to be picking up that arts thing again.
Yes, ma'am.
So anyway, support your arts. So, and I just felt like, so I'd always been kind of directing and writing. And then when my daughter, my youngest, decided she wanted to be an actress, I started, and there was no...
And I know your daughter.
Yes, Brenda Daly.
Yeah, it's a family affair. All in entertainment. Brenda's very, very talented, and I think you're a recent grandma, too.
Yes, I am, and she's super talented, too, but we'll go there.
Awesome.
Super cute. But anyways, she... So there was no such thing as anybody having reels.
Yes, correct.
When my daughter was doing it when she was 10, so I started creating content for her reels, and then that's kind of how I got my first short film done, and my second short film, and she was always my muse. And then when she went away to college, the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, I didn't know what I was going to do with myself.
Wow.
And so that's when I started going to acting classes and like learning how to go from theater to film.
I think we first met in an acting class.
We did, Ryan Williams' class.
I liked that class. He talked a lot, but it was a good class.
And he kicked your butt.
Yeah, you got your asses kicked.
I think that's what I liked about Ryan. Like, I'm really having a hard time finding a class that I love like that because I really want someone to challenge me. And boy, he used to scream and yell, and I'd go home and I'd be like, he's not yelling at me. And then I would work super, super hard, and then he'd go 3 or 4 classes, and then the 4th class he'd go, "Oh my God, you got it!"
I think it's generational now. I think we come from from a generation that when you were training or you had coaches or you had theater teachers, they yelled at you. Ballet teachers, they yelled at me.
They yelled at you a lot.
They did, and nowadays I know people all agree with that. They'll call it abusive or something. I don't know, but I'm thankful for it, to be honest.
I think we had to rise to the occasion.
Yes.
It's like, and I think too, it's like, everybody gets a trophy, and it's like, that's not really how real life works.
No.
Not everybody gets a trophy. And everybody knows it in the workplace. Not everybody gets to be employee of the month or employee of the year or whatever it is.
I don't want to suck. I'll be honest. I like people to tell me when you're sucking, you can do better. You need to do this. I personally don't want to suck. You have to be very confident in who you are as an individual, and you have to have an ego. Yes.
And I think the reason why I did okay on the challenge was because my family was not on board with me doing this. Like, they were like, no. But I have an ego. I don't think I'm better than anybody else, but I feel like I'm the most determined.
Absolutely.
And I do think that I know if I don't know something, I will make sure that I will get enough information to make it work.
I think that's really what helps a lot of successful filmmakers. I'm not from the film community either. I started in theater and went in, and when I got into the film community, there were so many things I'm like, I don't understand why they do it that way. Why does this take so much time? Why is it? And you learn and you do have that ego go, I know I can make this better somehow. It doesn't mean you think you're better. You're like, but I think I can think how to get into this. So part of, I think, that ego is that own self-determination of, I know I'm suited for this. And you are very suited for that.
Well, thank you. So are you.
Absolutely.
But I feel like but you really have to have, like, when they talk about passion, like I go, like, I just went to a panel the other day at the Nevada Film Office and stuff, and there's a lot of passion, but I'll tell you something that I probably shouldn't say on camera, but
that's all right.
Those guys that were working in acquisitions and sales and all those things that I need to learn.
Right.
They all started out to be actors.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
They all had that dream to be a filmmaker, and then they ended up doing the thing that pays. And I met this one guy, and they just moved to Vegas, and I talked to him, and he was talking, and he and I kind of had a similar show idea.
Yes.
Because he brought up, it's like, oh my God, I had this outline, and so we started talking about that. And then I said to him, and he told me his kid, he's an empty nester, and I said to him, you know what? I sent him a message after I met him. I said, you should really create something. He goes, I miss creating. I go, this is the time, because you're missing out on that part. Yes, I know you can get the movie sold and that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time for you to go back to square one where you had the passion.
Yeah, you felt like the artist.
Yeah, and I hear, I have a lot of family in the industry, and they're always like, oh, well, this, movies don't make money or this or that unless they have this person and that person.
Right.
I'm at that point in my life where I just want to create what I want to make what I like to watch.
Exactly.
I want to challenge myself. If it makes, I want it to make money, yes.
Yes, of course. Who doesn't? But
right.
But I
want to get better
with
each
what
time.
I'm doing. Yeah.
And I want it to look the way I want it to look. And
absolutely,
I don't.
That's where I'm at now. I think I've made that choice now. Again, I've been very lucky in the film community. I directed 2 films that got distribution. Would I have picked those scripts? And nothing against the scriptwriters and people that wrote them. I love those people.
Of course.
I wouldn't have picked those scripts, though. I would have.
Well,
I got to work with them.
As a director,
yes.
and they pick the script.
Exactly.
And that's the.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there isn't. Actually, they were approaching me with somebody else's script, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to make that script.
No, I get that.
I wouldn't have got it. I wouldn't have finished it.
I was very lucky that I got to speak to the writers and directors and go with my own visions. I was very, very lucky. I'm fortunate for that. I'm also at that neat point now, too, with the projects I'm doing henceforward, where I'm on them from the very get-go, from the creation of the script to as we're going, and it feels so good to be there.
Yeah.
It does. It feels good to be there.
I wrote Rogue Angel, but I really feel like with the next project,
yes,
Little Town Forgotten, let's talk about that.
Yes, ma'am!
So A Little Town Forgotten, the reason why I let somebody else write the script is because she approached me, and I always feel like life in the creative arts, you have to look at the synergy.
Mm-hmm.
So we're working on one project, and then she goes, I'd like to take you to coffee. And I was like, okay. Huh. And then she told me she was a screenwriter. I was like, man, I've been working on this outline for 8 years. Mm-hmm. From acting class with Ryan Williams.
I remember you actually mentioning this script a long time ago.
Yeah, so I
remember the concept.
All outline, and then I'm working on a horror, and she's in the horror film, and so anyways, we're talking about it. And she goes, "Well, I'd like to write that script." I'm like, "Well, okay, but it's got to be based on the outline, and you got to be able to let me beat you up a little bit."
Well, tell us a little bit about the story.
It's called The Little Town Forgotten, and it is it's really a horror western. So if I was going to pitch it, I would say Stranger Things meets Pale Rider.
Exactly.
And I feel it's basically about this young family that is coming home from vacation, and they have a 10-year-old son who's obsessed with Westerns. Mm-hmm. And so basically they break down and they end up crossing through a time channel, mm-hmm. and they get stuck in this town that's been stuck for hundreds of years, and the people who are living in this nowhere place need to get out. What I enjoyed, I think, if I'm correct, this film as a horror western is actually a family-friendly horror western, if I'm correct. Yeah, and I love that. I love such a different concept. Right. You don't see that. Yeah, that's true. And I love that. I don't mind the sexy stuff. Don't get me wrong. This gives it a great niche. It opens up your audience. Exactly. You remember being a kid and going to see some of these horror movies and having that Stranger Things, but there were like some of those kind of horror movies, like Something Wicked This Way Comes, those kind of things that you forget as a child. They're like, those are horror, but they were meant for kids to watch as well. And I have some of the best memories of that. So I love that you're giving something that people will, again, when this is done, that kids and people watch them, I remember when I saw that movie, and some of it made them want to do this kind of stuff, and that's the best part of it. The thing about storytelling is, I don't mind sex in a story. No, me either. But it has to resonate with the story. Yes. And I feel like this particular script I liked because I like the characters, and I tend to go very, very character-based. Yes. And so like I said, I'm writing these stories for me, and like I said, I don't mind a sex scene once in a while, but I can't handle it it's like, oh my God. What's the story? These two people having sex, and I really wanted this to be more of a fantasy kind of. So, what are your plans? When do you plan to get this done? When do we start filming this? I'm Addie. I've been as part of her crew. When are we? I was like, when are you? When are we? Sorry about that. So the plan is in June. Yes, we are filming in northern Nevada, so we have to worry about weather. Yes. But we do have the whole town opened up for us. So I have everything set except for the money. So I think, and we're talking about different ways that you were trying to raise money for that, and we could share that for their, just get that out there right now. So right now I'm looking for investors. I'm more excited about getting an investorship than I am, or sponsors. Instead of the Indiegogos, as usually say. I'm not saying I won't crowdfund. No, absolutely not. Right. But I really do feel like sponsorship for this particular project will probably be the best way to go, and if they want a piece of the pie, that's fine too. That's what I was asking. If they are sponsoring or they're investing,
what do they get out of this?
They're going to get a piece of the pie for the most part. They're going to have, they're going to get that executive producer credit. They'll get, or associate producer, depending on how much money they want to spend. I feel like they could put their product knowledge in there because we do have a portion of the film that is today.
Right. There's another podcast out of the LA area with Jimmy Starr and Ron Russell, and they try to find funding for films and people to invest in their films in that same way. In the films that they have things to do with. You might want to look them up. It's Jimmy Starr and Ron Russell. They run a great podcast out of LA for filmmakers as well. And they're always they're big on finding investors for films.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked at Slated, and I've looked at. There's a lot of things. Like I've been going to these panels, and they'll give you a loan on it.
They do the thing where they're putting it out there as they're seeking investors anywhere between $100,000 to as much as $17 million for films.
Right. So the advantage of this particular film was because I do go to a lot of events. I was actually approached by a film festival that's offering $100,000 in post-production. So I can get the movie in the can because they love the concept. They love the whole idea. They said that they will fly me up to Reno and I can go part of their pitch fest, and then they might handle all the post-production. And I had 3 people from that same festival, they kept coming back and introducing themselves. Nice. So they really, really did love the concept of the movie.
So if anyone that's watching right now wanted to get a hold of you that might be interested in investing or getting involved in film, how would they do that, Brenda?
You could actually contact me by my email, and it's CEO.Mama Bird Productions, MAMA, Mama.
That's right.
Productions with an S at gmail.com. And I'm going to be posting a lot of stuff. So if you want to look me up on Facebook, it's Brenda Daly. Hopefully I'll be able to put my Linktree link up there on the camera as well. But I think it's a great opportunity. And if you love a Western, and I don't really want to crowdfund parts. I really want people, but if people are investing in it and there's something we can put them in or something we can put them, that would be great. But the main characters, I really want to stick to people auditioning. Doesn't mean that investors can't audition, because they can.
Absolutely. There's lots of investors that audition for films. Michael Baran invest, but he auditions.
Right. And I think that's really important, because you don't really know someone's right for the part until they audition.
Exactly.
And I think, I don't want to just throw lines in just to throw lines in. I really want I want every line in the story to take you to the next step of the story.
Yeah, if I'm correct. The social media networks, this is done on their YouTube channel. You have a YouTube channel as well.
I do. I have a...
Subscribe.
Yeah, I actually have a podcast called Real Women, Celebrating Women in Film.
Great film. It's a great podcast. I've been on there twice.
Yes, I haven't really done a lot of those, but I am starting to gear that back up. But right now I've been really busy promoting the film and trying to get everything together. And so, but I want everybody to know that with these little independent films, I know they're no-name actors, that you should really go out of your way to support the independent film market, because that gives us the opportunity to grow our market. Yes, I know big budget films and big actors are great to watch, and I love them all, but I do feel like you need to support the ground level people so that they can get to the next level, so you can say, I was a part of that. I watched your first movie. This one's better than that one because it's later, but it's
like Brenda has her first film she's doing. She's about to do her second film. She runs her Real Women podcast, and also you have another kind of series that you've been working on for several years called Mom Squad.
Mom Squad. So Mom Squad, I did raise the money for it. I'm probably going to have to raise money again. We'll see. The problem with Mom Squad is that I've had several people get sick or pass away.
Yes, and that was one thing. It was losing Donna.
Right. So Donna Fisher Gray was one of my very best friends, and she's amazing in Mom Squad. She's
hilarious.
And I do really want to finish it. I have it 90% in the can. I'm actually meeting with my DP tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
And we're trying to get it edited, and then just fill in those few little things.
It was a year ago at this time. I just saw that I was doing my voiceover.
For
a year ago at this time for the character that I get to play
Yeah.
in Mom Squad. Fun character.
Yeah, that's when my granddaughter was born.
Randall!
And it's so funny because I was editing that, and the voice was like, I was just laughing the whole time. I was like, oh my God, this is so funny. So I actually almost had that scene completely edited.
You wrote me a great character. I really love what you did with that.
Randall the Watch.
I love doing that.
Mom Squad, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It originally started as a YouTube project. Now I've got it like as a film, but now I'm thinking about, I might go back to YouTube.
Good deal. Good deal.
Yeah, because people were telling me that maybe I should make it vertical, which
We could
I
even-
could just re-edit it.
Yeah, we could do that too. Like I said, I was talking about doing it through the Carmelicity to do it where you can get your YouTube people and follows and whatnot to get that. One thing, we got distribution for Ring of Desire, but it actually had more YouTube views when it was done through one of the studios, and it had as many as 3 million views.
Oh, see, that's what I need.
We would need that for Mom Squad. That'd be great.
Yes.
Brenda, gosh, it's always great to have you and talk to you and
never enough
see
time.
you. But again, let's get out there. Let's get some investors. I know we're sharing the QR code so you can see her first film, Rogue Angel. Fantastic film.
Feel free
Great
to reach
stars in
out.
it. Feel free to reach out. And let's give them your information one more time.
Okay, my name is Brenda Daly. You can get a hold of me on Facebook. You can look up Rogue Angel. It's on Facebook and Instagram. And also you can ceo.mamabirdproductions@gmail.com. And yes, A Little Town Forgotten, right now we are sending out query letters if you would like to just look at the project.
It's going to get done.
Yes, we're going to get it done. I think we have plenty of time to get it done.
We do.
And
We're
working on it.
We're on it.
Yes, it's going to be great. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. I love seeing you all the time. Oh my
You're
God.
the best.
And it seems like too much time sometimes goes between seeing you.
I know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Social Media Network.
Thank you all for being here today with us with Brenda Daly. We're going to take a break now before we bring in our next guest for Take One. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, guys.
I can't seem to escape the terrible things people do to each other.
Every time something happens at your family's mind, someone always ends up missing.
You seen Daddy?
I don't want him anywhere near your sister.
Let's just say some things in stay between family.
Oh, like between you and your dad?
You killed him.
I will kill you right here!